hockey. There's still no hockey. It's the summer. Welcome to Up the Boards. I'm Yusuf. That's Alex. That's Tyler. We're doing way too early division predictions because what else do we have to do right now? And we've already done our video on the Atlantic. We are now doing the Metropolitan division, and of course, we are going to have our resident Metro man himself leading the charge today. Tyler, where would you like to start?
I think we should start with the team that finished first place in the Metro this past year, which is the Washington Capitals.
Okay.
The Washington Capitals finished 51-22-9 for a grand total of 111 points, which is quite good. This is where it gets fun. Their leading point scorer was Dylan Strome. 29 goals, 53 assists, 82 points in total. Followed by Mr. Alexander Ovechkin with 44 goals, 29 assists, and 73 points overall.
And broke the record.
We'll throw that in there. Okay, now this is my question to you all. Without looking, I don't know if you looked at the little cheat sheet yet.
Not yet.
Who was third place in points for the Capitals?
I am currently looking at it. So,
so Dylan Strome was first in scoring,
and then Ovi was second. So, second. Who was
Is it Tom Wilson?
Protas.
Alexei Protas?
He was 30, 36, and 66 combined.
That kid's going to be a stud. That kid's going to be such a monster. Oh my God.
And then, I don't know what their plan was this offseason, but I don't know if they followed what their plan was, but they didn't do anything. Like, they didn't even... I don't think they tried.
They did get linked at the end to Ehlers, and they were supposedly a very compelling offer. So they went to do something. But honestly, not overreacting is probably a good thing for them.
Yeah, I think it's a great move. I mean, they got a lot of that's a really young roster. I mean, like, once you take Ovechkin out of it with everyone retiring or being injured of the old guard, if you will, of Oshie and Backstrom, it's kind of actually okay. I don't think they're in a bad spot. I'm not a fan of doing nothing, but at the same time, I actually will give credit. They have a lot of young talent that's ready to move, and they're just kind of working internally.
I think for all they've done last offseason into this past season, their whole plan of we're just going to throw things at the wall and see what happens worked out a lot better than they had hoped. Like, again, Dylan Strome is their leading scorer this season, right? Like, worked out a lot better. The acquisition of Jacob Chikrin worked out a lot better than we all thought.
Great move,
right? PLD is on the Caps, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, and PLD has worked out very well for the Caps.
That trade is a rare, win-win.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that everyone forgets about the Capitals last season, and this goes back to our conversation about Vegas a little bit ago the other day, was that they had a goaltender who was an all-star and was doing very, very well, and they got rid of him. That was Logan Thompson. And
Logan Thompson.
Capitals goalie, he had an outstanding season last year. And so, I mean, the Caps are okay. They're fine.
Yeah, no, I think they're fine. Like I said, for everything they did last offseason, I think they went into this offseason going, maybe try the same strategy and see if it works, but there really wasn't many players to do the whole throw at a dartboard and see what happens strategy with. So I think it's actually kind of nice that they're not doing anything right now. Yeah. It kind of shows that the Caps are focused on developing what they already have. And like you've said, Tyler, they've got a great young roster outside of the Carlson, the Backstrom, the Ovi, right? They've got a pretty solid young roster. Alexei Protas alone, that kid, like I said, is going to be a stud. And they've got his brother, too, when he gets ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
So they're pretty much not set. But the other thing, too, is I think this season was special for them because they had one thing in mind. And I feel like this is why Logan Thompson went a little under the radar, is because everyone, including ourselves, especially, of course, but everyone was focused on the record.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Well, everyone was watching the record.
Well,
will he do it? Will he not? And he did
it. you know when Logan Thompson was impossible to ignore was the first round of the playoffs. They could have really gotten into some sticky water pretty quickly. But he stood on his head and he went, I see you, young feisty Montreal, and I say, not today.
Yes. And that was great.
And I think the other thing with the Caps is I think Ovi already has his cup. So I think that's
Yep.
good. And at this point, they got him the record. So I think in their mind, it's like, yes, they could go all out in free agency, try to get him one last hurrah. Or it's like, or we could sit idle and not screw up our future. And I think that's what they're doing. Is it's smart. If they want to go in at the deadline and get a piece at the trade deadline and go ball out, great. But I think right now they're like, you know what? We're in a great position for after Ovi. And I think that's exactly where their thoughts are.
It's also a great move with the core, with the age that their young prospects are at and everything.
yeah.
It's the right time to say, we believe in you, and we're not going to block you from being able to come give this a shot.
And I think for all purposes with their prospects or with their with the young guys they have on that roster, it's so funny. I think back to a conversation Tyler and I had years ago when we originally did this podcast over the pandemic. We were talking about the Capitals, and the big question the two of us had was, what are they going to do with a Connor McMichael, Hendrix Lapierre, these guys that they've been touting about so much? Like, are they going to be worth developing, or are the Caps going to just trade them off and try to build around Ovi? I'm glad they stay put on him.
Yeah,
I'm so glad they made the right call of staying put on the Lapierre's, Connor McMichael, all these guys to develop them well, and they have looked great. They're not all they're not going to be elite of the elites, but as a unit, the fact that they've been able to develop so well and very quietly too, which I'm actually really appreciative of.
No, absolutely.
They've been able to develop so well while everything else has been going on. Like, as much as people want to talk about, like, yes, Ovi broke the record, but there's a reason he broke the record. It's the team around him that made sure he broke the record.
110%.
No. And then it leads me to realize that, like, this team is in very good hands once Ovi walks off in the sunset.
Yep.
No.
Yep. So I think that takes us to our second place team for the Metro. A whopping 47 wins, 30 losses, and 5 overtime losses. We have Yusuf's Carolina Hurricanes.
Wait, this isn't a Red Wings jersey. Why am I wearing this?
To upset me. So they finished with a whole 99 points in these standings, which is quite good. Now, this is fun. If you don't look at the cheat sheets, guys, because this is going to be really fun. All right, leading scorer, 29 to 45 for a grand total of 74 is Sebastian Aho.
That makes sense.
Very good. Great player. And then their second place in scoring is kind of interesting. With 32 goals, 35 assists, 67 total points was Jarvis.
That was my guess.
Makes
Okay,
sense.
this is where the Canes get interesting. So with 20 goals, 28 assists, and a grand total of 48 points, we have Svechnikov. And keep in mind, the last number I said was 48. And this is the Canes' kind of gleaming hole. And then some notable exits. Burns is gone. Orlov's gone. Roslovic's gone. Scott Morrow's gone. They got JT Miller, Caden Premu from the Canadians. They got Ehlers. And then they got Stankoven re-signed, which I think was a big move for them. I think they actually left this offseason better than they started, actually. Like, honestly, the outs were old and kind of outdated, and they got new scoring defenseman in Miller, can't play defense, and then they got Ehlers, which is just going to take them to a much more elevated offensive scheme. Thing is, Svechnikov was fared with 48 points.
So
I have... Oh, Yusuf, you can go.
Sorry, yeah, this has to beg the question, and I think this has been talked about by, I'd hope, a lot of people, but I think this needs to be a bigger question to be asked, right? Is it finally time to say that Andrei Svechnikov is not the guy we all thought he would be? I don't want to speak negative about Butley. He's an incredible player. He's got a great shot, great goal scorer. But for everything he was made out to be when he got drafted, his purpose on the team supposed to be like that truly elite goal scorer to get things from Sebastian Aho and, just fire off for the Carolina Hurricanes. I know he's been injured here and there, but it feels like the regression has caused me to think more and have my doubts about whether or not he's really what he's been poised to be.
Sure.
And I think the addition of Nikolai Ehlers as well is, I think the Carolina Hurricanes partially saying we need more firepower because it's hard for him to just be the single goals, like main goal scorer on that team. And, it helps. I mean, now granted, Seth Jarvis is there. Logan Stankoven has re-signed, right? Those two are gonna light shit up for them. But I still have my doubts about Andrei Svechnikov.
Well, they've always been a defense-first team, and that's always been their. It's system. Yeah. Everyone buys into the system, and they win low-scoring games, which is great. However, I was prepared for this. I have Svechnikov's stats from the years prior up. What do you think his highest single season point total was?
60.
Point total or goal total?
Point total.
75.
69. And what do you think his highest
Nice.
goal? What do you think his highest goal total was?
He's never hit 40, has he?
His highest was 30.
Huh.
Which isn't bad.
No, not at all. Like having a 30 goal scorer on your team is great, if anything. Yeah.
He actually put up 52 points last year through 59 games, and this past season he did 48 in 72 games. So not particularly great overall. So I mean, I kind of agree with you. Actually, it's kind of an interesting conversation to have about Svech.
It's definitely an interesting conversation to have about Svech, and maybe we can carry on with this. But I do my point towards the whole Carolina Hurricanes organization is they've definitely made out with this offseason a lot better than anyone thought they would.
Yes.
Like the acquisition of Ehlers alone, solid. Being able to get Logan Stankoven out of the Mikko Rantanen trade has worked well for them so far. And now that they have him extended, it's going to be even better, I think. That kid's only going to get better with time. Seth Jarvis is proving that he can be that guy. And I love Seth Jarvis.
So love Seth
Absolutely.
He's good. Like, I think it's finally working out for Carolina in that sense. It just needs to all click when it counts the most.
Do you think Rod's the coach?
You know what? I still think so. I still do believe in Rod the Bod.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he fits how they play and what they do organizationally. And I think when you've got that level of comfortability, you also have to factor in the market. I know we can say is he the guy to get you over the hump, but you also have to look at the market.
No, 100%.
And the franchise is so much better keeping him in than trying to go grab people who are available right now. Yeah. I love their offseason, actually. I think that they've made a slight change to their forward core that makes us believe we're going to see some better offense out of them. And I think that I love the chance that they took on Miller. Now, Rangers got a good return. We'll talk about them later. But I also really think that if there's an organization who can find a way to work with Keandre Miller's defense, it's Carolina. And you talk about their subtractions as well. It should not go. I have to I'll look it up in a second here when someone else is talking. But Brett Burns was playing insane minutes for them down the stretch. Absolutely insane minutes, and he's ancient. He is one of 3 players in North American sports active playing from the 2003 draft. LeBron James, Brent Burns, Corey Perry. What a weird group of 3 athletes, right? I mean,
it speaks to the longevity of hockey players that they're able to go that long.
That two of them are hockey players.
Two of them are hockey players. It's also insane that Burns was clocking 20 plus minutes down the stretch for the Canes last year.
He looked good,
and his defense looked good. We'll get to the fit with Colorado later, but I love that. I think that's awesome. Yeah. But so you look at what they've done. They've added scoring. They've added players who they can fix. We talk a lot in a lot of other sports. You talk about orgs who can find a particular skill set in a guy and develop them. With baseball, you talk about organizations who can develop pitching, and with hockey, it's the most equivalent team in my head is Carolina to playing responsible 200 feet.
Yep, 100%.
So we'll see what they do.
Yeah, I love their offseason, which gets us to the next theme, which is the continuing on the red jersey teams in the Metropolitan Division. We're going to talk about the third place team, which is the New Jersey Devils, because apparently everyone just wears red in this division. So the Devils finished third with 42 wins, 33 losses, and 7 OT losses, shootout losses, for a total of 91 points. Their leading scorer was Bratt, with 21 goals, 67 assists for 88 total points. Which, great player. No one talks about him. I don't understand that, but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Hughes, despite his injury, 27 goals, 43 assists, 70 points. And then Nico Hischier, another underrated center, 35 goals, 34 assists, 69 total points. They lost Eric Hall. That was like the big one for them. But they got Connor Brown. They got Dadonov. Like, they actually made a couple interesting moves. Like, those were kind of the two big ones that stuck out to me. But, like, I don't know. I think they did all right. Once again, kind of similar theme here at the Metro. Like, the Canes kind of did the largest swing in for the most part, but, like, of the first three teams we talked about. But, like, the Devils kind of play a little bit safe. And, like, they got a couple of depth guys to really help bolster their bottom six, but, like, they're kind of just rolling with what they got. They kind of know they have a good hand, and they're just going to keep rolling with it. I mean, they had 3 major injuries last year towards the end of the season, so, I mean, like, that just, like, sucked, but it's what they were dealt, and they got in the playoffs, and they tried, and it just didn't work out. But, I mean, they have a good team. Like, they just got to keep rolling with it.
Yeah, I think that they've really had it worse than any other team down the stretch when it came to losing impact players. They've been aggressive. They went out and got Markstrom. They, not that long ago, everyone was like, they don't have a goalie. Why do we like this team? They don't have a goalie. They went and got one, and then he gets hurt, and you lose Hughes, and it just kind of felt like, all right, this is not the postseason for them. Kind of stood pat. They have the core, so they really just got to focus on guys staying healthy, which is a little bit luck. We'll see.
I think health is the big thing for the New Jersey Devils at the end of the day, because a healthy Hughes makes a difference in the playoffs. A healthy Hischier makes a difference. A healthy Markstrom, a healthy Luke Hughes, a healthy Dougie Hamilton makes the biggest difference in this postseason, right? So hopefully they can find a way to stay a little on the safer side next season. We'll see how that goes. In regards to what they've done in the offseason, I think it's good. New Jersey kind of needs a little more depth on both ends of the ice just to really back up in the event that people get hurt, which has been a common issue for them this past season and in years past. As far as what their leading scorers, I think what Jesper Bratt is one of those guys, and I'm going to say the same about Nico Hischier, that they are two players that do so much for their teams in so many different ways, and it gets underlooked because there are guys doing the same, if not better, on their own respective team, and we tend to look at that. And I think a lot of people underlook New Jersey because of that. Like, people just stop paying attention to the Devils. They do something good for a hot minute, and then everyone goes, look over there. Oh, and then people just forget that New Jersey's doing New Jersey things. And Nico Hischier, like, I'm going to say this, and this might be a hot take, but to me, I really do feel he's probably like top 15 on a good day. If he's having like a banger season, he could be a top 10 center in this league.
Oh, see, hotter take. I honestly think he's probably one of the top 5 best 200-foot players in the league.
Oh, 100, yeah.
Top like 10 for me. Go watch a New Jersey game. I swear to God, you will not find a guy skating harder and faster to make defensive plays.
Yep.
The numbers do not talk about Nico Hischier enough because there isn't a stat for how good he is when he doesn't have the puck.
Yeah. And the other thing,
he's an eye test kind of guy.
He is an eye test kind of guy, and it also goes under the radar considering that he doesn't get talked enough. He doesn't get talked about enough in the conversation of when you rank first overall picks in the previous year, because people forget he did go first overall in his draft year. Tyler, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Regarding the New Jersey Devils.
Yes.
Since you asked with the Canes if Rod is the coach of the future, do you think Sheldon can get them over the hump?
That's kind of where it's getting to. That's the only question I have for him. Sheldon did a great job in Toronto, as you know. I thought really highly of him.
Yes, Tyler loved Sheldon Keefe in Toronto.
To be fair, I also didn't particularly like the GM in Toronto, which I didn't think helped him at all. So, like, I actually think he learned a lot from his past experience, and I don't know. I think this year's gonna be very telling to me about New Jersey.
Yes,
we're gonna find out a lot about New Jersey this year. Now they have a little more depth scoring.
Honestly, I think their start to the season is going to tell us a lot. How does this team come out? Are they going to come out hungry, or are they going to come out flat?
Right. The other thing too is like, the Devils are staying young, and I think as far like with Sheldon Keefe, he's great with developing players.
100%.
So this might actually fare well. I think it personally will. I love Sheldon. I think he's a great coach. Whatever happened in Toronto happened, but with the Devils, new face, fresh start, right? He's done his first season with the Devils. I think moving forward, we're going to see a very different Devils team and a very different Sheldon. Like we're going to see the Sheldon we all thought we would see in Toronto, but no. I just hope the Devils do well.
And I think he has the team bought in a little bit more than the team in Toronto was bought in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's making the big difference for New Jersey. I think 100%. That will actually make the difference is they are a team where in Toronto, partially just fault of the city, it's look at the superstars, which is great, but it's a team sport. And I think the season's going to be very interesting.
Yeah. I've got one question for you guys before we move on from this red jersey team. No. This is a silly question, but it was one of the highlights of the offseason in terms of just exemplifying how nuts of a year this was. If you had to put a percentage on it, Quinn Hughes to New Jersey?
Look, I think it happens, honestly.
Okay. All right, but how much of a percentage?
I'll put like 85.
85.
65.
This year you have 85 and it happens this year. Not this year, but
it's 65.
Near future. Deadline. Well, when we get to the Pacific, I think that's gonna. I think I was around like 70%.
I'm gonna clip this part of the podcast.
We're gonna talk about Vancouver in the Pacific Division preview, but I have thoughts about that situation. We'll talk about them later.
Look, I'll leave it at this, and we'll move on to the fourth place team. There's been obviously we got a former Vancouver Canuck on the Rangers, or I guess former Ranger back, but there were some interesting interviews, and I'll leave it at that. I think just things that kind of infer between the lines of some of the other situations going on at the same time and interviews Miller had. I think it's very interesting what's going on in Vancouver. I think a lot of players aren't as happy as it alludes to be there. It's not all sunshines and rainbows.
That's our stayed.
Yeah. I'm
still amazed. But again, we'll save that for when we talk about
We'll save that for the Pacific.
All right. So to a team that everyone cares about, fourth place team with 40 wins, 33 losses, and 9 OT shootout losses for 89 points. Yours, my Columbus Blue Jackets.
Good for them.
Yeah, absolutely good for them.
Good for them. Everyone would have been, if they were bottom 5 in the East this year, everybody would have been, yeah, that's fine. Yeah. And then they went out and
the Metro.
Unbelievable season.
There's one player we need to talk about, but let's get to the first player on scoring. Well-deserved season. 23 goals, 59 assists, 82 points. Werenski. Absolutely deserved. Incredible.
Norris nominated season.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. And then this is the man who I think is why they're doing so well. 31 goals, 43 assists, 74 points. Marchenko. Dude is incredible. Hits players, scores goals.
It's the whole package.
He really is. And then there was a tie for third, so I put them both on the list. So we had 24 goals, 33 assists, 57 total points. We had Johnson, their young forward, who I like a lot. And then we have 19 goals, 38 assists, 57 total points. Good old veteran Sean Monahan. Just everyone forgot he was there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it hurts me bringing it up. Sean Monahan had a rough season.
Yeah, he did, and he still was third in scoring.
But he still was able to be finished third in scoring. Like he persevered through a lot, coming to Columbus in free agency to join the Blue Jackets and Johnny, and then as we all know what happened, Johnny Gaudreau unfortunately passed away during the offseason last year, and to go through all that and still be a leading force in this Blue Jackets team that got them just so close to a playoff spot. Like you got to give Sean Monahan, you got to give the whole Blue Jackets credit.
Well,
they played their asses off this year.
Because, yeah, I mean, dude, everything. I mean, I've read about Columbus. I'm sure you all have read. It's like just super great organization from the
Yep.
bottom up. Like everyone's really
and
committed
and
there.
and a fan base that everyone talks about.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
A fan base
yeah.
that everyone talks about positively. It's not one of those fan bases where people are like, "Mm."
Right.
Everyone's like, Columbus, good fans.
yeah, and sticking with the theme of the Metro, we apparently just don't do anything anymore. We used to take big swings. Apparently, we don't do it anymore. So JVR's out, Corrali's out, Taraslav was traded, the goalie, and they really didn't bring in anyone of note. Lindstrom was probably the only guy. Lindstrom, and that was pretty much it. I mean, they didn't. No one's made a big splash in the Metro. I'm not entirely sure why, to be honest with you. Like the Miller trade with Carolina was the big one, but like it's just very. A lot of people like said, okay, we had good seasons. Okay, we were really close, or we did great. Let's kind of keep where it is, because once again, a lot of the Metro is very young, and I think that's just kind of the theme here: is just trust the young guys, trust the talent. And I think you watched a lot of teams last year take some big swings. When we get to the Central, we'll talk about that, and kind of miss. Like I kind of think teams there might be a little more hesitant than they were in years past.
Yeah. Friedman also talked about how Columbus had to deal with a little bit of an Ohio tax.
Yeah.
Right? They I think had more work to do, despite having the team that should be unbelievably attractive, an organization that's unbelievably attractive to a free agent. Sometimes it's a hurdle you can't get over. It's difficult. So their best path is internal guys. And I think the most exciting thing for them this year, I mean, I'm blanking on I don't have an extra monitor. I can't look at the roster right now, but they've got a stud goalie prospect, right?
Yes.
And then they also got, a theme we're going to talk about as we keep going. This is a really big season for the 23 draft class. A really big season for the 23 draft class, especially for the top 3 picks. A little bit different in each team situation, right?
Yep.
But Fantilli, oh my God, did he show up last year?
Oh my God.
Oh my God, did he break out?
Dude,
he had stretches where he looked like no one could stop him from scoring. He just could do whatever he wanted. And that has got to be so exciting to see that the guy you took at number 3 just a couple years ago is shaping up to be exactly what that franchise wants.
Well, then once again, you got Kent Johnson, you got Marchenko, Matt, Olivier, like you got Cole Sillinger, like you have all these young guys who are just ready to make that jump.
Hayden Lindstrom probably makes a jump in the next year or two.
Yeah.
Like even like defense, dude, you got just a bunch of young guys who really are ready to make that jump. Like, they got a guy from 2004 on the team at defense. I mean, like they're ready to roll, man. Like they're young, man. Like
I think with the Columbus Blue Jackets, part of it also the way they have been handling things recently, I think has been their way of saying we need to not exactly right the wrongs of the Jarmo Kekalainen era of Columbus, but there were definitely some things Jarmo did down the stretch of his career in Columbus that had even the Blue Jackets kind of shaking their head going, why are we doing this exactly? Okay. He did some great drafting. Yes, but some moves here and there, probably not the best. This is, I think, now the Blue Jackets' time to really show what everything's going to be like moving forward. And yeah, this is going to be a big, big season for that 23 draft class for like a lot of guys they have that are just ready to make the jump for the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yeah, I think they're in really good hands, and I think they're in a really good spot. Like, once again, the theme of the Metros, do nothings. Which gets us to our 5th place team, which I think is the one I'm the least excited to talk about. 39 wins, 36 losses, 7 OT shootout losses for a grand total of 85 painful points. My painfully disappointing New York Rangers. Our leading goal scorer was a man who has a nice restaurant chain. We call him Panarin. Panarin Bread, with 37 goals, 52 assists, 89 total points. Second place, I have a little asterisk by it because he came mid-season. 22 goals, 20... Or that's not right. I wrote a number wrong. Anyway, 70 total points, which is JT Miller. And then third on the team in scoring, who would take Miller out second, was Mika Zibanejad with 20 goals, 42 assists for 62 points. And then third place was Adam Fox with 10 goals, 51 assists for 61 points. our notable outs, Chris Kreider and Keandre Miller, were probably the two large ones. However, we brought in Gavrikov, which is great. So, yeah. And we got two young guys in Kerry Terrence and Scott Morrow. So I'm kind of excited for those two, actually. I'm actually really excited to get younger again. So
Obviously, you've got your feelings.
I have a lot of feelings.
Obviously, you've got your feelings. I'll give my 2 cents real quick. Last year was the year of vibes for teams, and the teams that we saw underperform had all kinds of locker room stuff coming out throughout the entire season. And I feel like New York to have fallen so hard, it's sometimes it's not the ice. Sometimes it's not what's happening on the ice, and it leads to a really bad product on the ice. I think they're set to rebound. I like what they did. I'll give my 2 cents on Kerry Terrence. I was so sad to see him being the return because I am particularly high on him. Now, not all Ducks fans feel the same. Not all scouts feel the same. But nobody can agree about a prospect. But I love Kerry Terrence. I think he's sick. So that's a good return. And I think they did really well on the Miller trade. And then now you're going to have JT Miller in New York for the whole season. He's going to hopefully be performing up to his standard, and you're set. I mean, and you've got the goalie.
Yeah,
that you've got a goalie who, when he is right and the defense isn't selling him out, he's top 3, if not 2, in the league. Just unbelievable, right? So there's reason to be hopeful.
No, absolutely. Yusuf?
So,
well,
Yusuf, destroy me.
My best friend Alex
Tell me why
did a
I'm
lot
wrong.
of jobs.
your notable best friend Alex, not your other notable best friend me. The New York Rangers are such an interesting team to me because the way that team is built, you should be expecting them to be like on paper, right? Top 3 in the division, no problem. Make the East Finals minimum, maybe the conference semis, things like that. And this isn't my shot against the Rangers, because I feel like they have partly righted the wrong of whatever that wrong was exactly this season. And as Alex mentioned, like this past season was all about vibes, right? And vibes, I could tell from watching Rangers games here and there, were definitely off. Even relying on looking at how their top players looked, your Kreiders, your Panarin, Zibby, things like that, you could tell something was off. And I think this coming season, that Kreider's out, Troup is obviously gone. Getting Gavrikov, I think, is going to give them a closer to an identity of what we all expect of the New York Rangers going forward. It's just, I think my only thing with them now is, if anything positive, I feel like they are going to make a big deal in the Metro again, especially with how the rest of the Metro looks right now. It's not looking as great outside of the teams we just talked about. But that being said, do you feel like there's anything left that the Rangers should do?
So
don't say Connor McDavid.
No, I have a lot of
Get
thoughts.
rid of Dolan, but that's not happening.
No, actually, I mean, you can't say Dolan's the issue because the Knicks have actually been cooking, but that's a whole other thing. The
Knicks are really good.
Yeah, so so here's the thing. I put a lot of thought in this, and I think the Trouba thing, that whole situation caused a lot of drama. And the team that was really close, a lot of things went sour. Now, obviously watched a lot of Rangers games. I haven't missed one in about 7-8 years at this point. I'm like, I used to watch them in classes, Yusuf knows, but watched them at funerals. I've watched them at weddings. I've done all. But
he has done them all.
I think the big thing is the Kreider era was over. It was time. I mean, he was not even top 5 in scoring, and that I think is a good thing. And he's gone, and it's fine. He was great Ranger. He's going to be a retired Ranger. It's incredible, but it just kind of needed to move on. The Trouba thing caused a lot of a stir up though, because it was a really, really tight team, and then they just kind of the guy who everyone bought into loving. Like, regardless of his on ice performance and stuff, like, he was loved by the players. So getting rid of Trouba was a big kind of issue, and just even the trade rumors originally started all this drama. But halfway through the season, or I guess at the deadline technically, when they brought JT Miller in, the vibes shifted real hard back to like, all right, we're a team again. And like everyone was playing better and the things seemed a little bit better. Now, Alex brought up the elite goaltending, which I think is fabulous because Shesterkin is top 2 for sure. He is. And then, but I think the thing that like his stats this season did not show it except for one, which was goals saved above expected. He was still top 3 in the league, which means that's insane. Number one, or still at least top 10 in that category. But the category that really kind of makes that look better is the fact that he faced the single most high danger scoring chances by like a metric of like double the next closest guy, which is absurd, because they didn't help him. So now you get a stud like Gavrikov to actually help him. And I think you're in an okay spot. And then there's still an ace up the sleeve, which I haven't even talked about yet, which is why I honestly have been pretty high on the Rangers this season. Something called Mike Sullivan.
Right. The new head coach.
So, like, I think that is a whole other conversation. Man's won a couple cups in Pittsburgh and has coached a lot of very, very good players. And, like, he's coached Team USA. I think he's a very solid coach who's going to come in and just be like, all right, guys, we need to get it. It's like Florida to me. It's like when they got Maurice, it was just like, this was what they needed.
Yeah.
They needed an adult. And I think that's what the Rangers finally got. I don't think Gallant was an adult. I don't think Laviolette was the guy. I don't think either of them are really strong personalities. Mike Sullivan is he's a leader. And that's what I think they really need right now, is like someone who's, you got a locker room that was kind of in some turmoil, and you need someone to come in and be like, all right, well, we're a team and we're going to go win a cup this year. And like, you guys were close 2 years ago. Last year you sucked. Like, what are we? Pick now. I think that's what you're going to get. So I don't know. We're either going to be great or we're going to be terrible, because that's just how my life
We're either going to see the Rangers win a cup, or they're going to crash out harder than they did this season.
It's either going to be the most glorious deadline fire sale, or
Exactly.
they're going to...
I'm going to be either happy and crying in the streets of New York watching a parade, or I'm going to be just absolutely miserable and being like, God, why do I root for the Jets and Rangers?
We can't finish this Rangers talk without, I got to get my jab in. One of the Ducks' best wins this last season was a 4-2 comeback.
I know.
In the closing minutes of the third period in Honda Center, right? So we had the home crowd, but I mean, they bailed out on Igor.
So I remember it because it's every line after every loss of the season. Laviolette would get on it. Wasn't our night. Just that was always his line. It's just like, really, man? Like, that's what you're going to say to that comeback loss? Like, Jesus Christ, man. But yeah, so either pain or victory. That's kind of where I'm at. Like, I'm going to just kind of...
That's every fan base at this point. That's fine.
Yeah.
Pain or victory. That's every
pain
fan
or victory.
base. Yeah.
Yep.
Not football. It's just pain for me.
That's what you get for being a Jets fan.
Yeah, I know. Trust me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Right. Yeah, I know. Trust. It's a really fun life. At least I got the Yankees and the Knicks. Well, now the Knicks. All right, so let's get to the sixth place team. Speaking of orange and blue teams, sixth place, 35 wins, 35 losses, 12 overtime shootout losses, and your first overall draft pick winner in the lottery with 82 points, the New York Islanders.
This is going to be such an interesting team to watch.
This is going to be
3 to 5 years. They are such a weird team.
Well, you haven't even heard the scorers yet.
Please go. I am sorry for interrupting you.
I thought the whole thing was this team couldn't score.
Yeah, what do you mean leading scorers? They had people that scored things?
Someone had to lead. Like, I mean, like, all right.
Yeah, with 2.
Yeah.
So I want to point out this is actually
2 points, by the way.
All right, so here it is. This is amazing. The leading scorer is Bo Horvat with 28 goals, 29 assists for a grand total of 57 points. Anders Lee, because you can't spell Anders without Anders, was second with 29 goals, 25 assists for 54 total points in the season. By the way, 82 games. I want to point that out there for all wondering. Kyle Palmieri was third, because that's a name I haven't heard in a while. 24 goals, 24 assists for 48 points. That is their third highest score. They didn't really lose a whole heck of a lot in the offseason. They also kind of made some weird names got brought in. Tony D'Angelo, because apparently not enough teams ran that experiment. Jonathan Drouin, and that's kind of the big two.
Emil Heineman, they got him out of the Dobson trade.
Does that really move your needle much, Yusuf? Like,
No.
Yes, I mean, like,
No.
but I mean,
new GM. That's the biggest thing.
Matthew Darsh is the big talking point here.
Well, and then I think the other thing is, I mean, the first overall draft pick.
I hate the lottery.
I also hate the lottery. It's but
yeah. How do you guys hate the lottery? The Red Wings have the low. You know what? Never mind. I'm not getting.
The Ducks have never won.
We've had one. I think we've had maybe two in 100 years. We've had only 2 first overall picks.
Yeah, and the one you got recently was the one that should have gone to the Red Wings.
I mean, give me a look.
Let's talk about Schaefer.
Let's talk about Matthew Schaefer.
Number one, good job on the Islanders for the draft.
They did it.
Good job
they
not
didn't
fucking it
botch
up. Yes.
Yeah. Everyone thought they were going to make a move for Higgins. Thought it was pretty funny that they couldn't get him, but they also lucked into getting really good drops. They got really good picks back to back.
The fact that they got away with Victor Eklund that low is insane.
Phenomenal draft. Honestly.
Good draft.
And
very good job.
You know, obviously we all pick on the Islanders for their ability to not know what scoring is.
To be fair, Barzal was like deceased all year.
Yeah, that too. Barzal, like a healthy Barzal, a healthy Horvat makes a difference. When assuming Schaefer's playing this season, he probably is. I don't know if we went into that, but he might be. He probably does. He probably will.
He probably will.
Yeah.
But there's also something to say about giving him another year.
Right.
He only played 20. He played less than 20
games last year. He only played less than 20 games last year. Yeah.
Yeah, like
because of injury.
Injury. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks fine. He's gonna have. I think he's gonna be a training camp wait and see.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna. We'll see what he looks like at training camp, kind of thing.
Honestly, that's my moment. Seriously, I mean, like, dude, you draft him first overall, like, put him into it. Like, let's see what you got.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
Plus, mind you traded Noah Dobson, fully knowing you were going to get Schaefer.
Yeah, I think they're going.
That's true. They don't make. I don't think they make the same trade if they don't get the number one.
No. God, no.
He's starting.
One of the reason I bring up why I think the Islanders are going to be so interesting in the next 3 to 5 years. Never mind this coming season, but moving past that, looking at the future, even the next 3 years, I'd say 5 years is a long time. They have Cole Yzerman and they have Victor Eklund now, right? Those are 2 high-profile scorers that if they pan out the way they should and they are firing on all cylinders when they become Islanders, they'll finally have their scoring. And I think the Islanders need to understand that and start to work around that. Now, granted, Matthew Darsh just got here. He's got a lot to do with this team moving forward. They're gonna have he's gonna have to build this team's new identity around guys like Matthew Schaefer. But for right now, looking at the Islanders, made some, the draft is what everyone's talking about with them.
Yeah.
They did a lot better than we all thought they would.
Now, to give credit where credit is due, despite the lack of scoring, I honestly think if you're going to have some guys come in and mentor the next generation of your team, like love or hate Bo Horvat, love or hate Lee, love or hate Palmieri, I think that's a good group of guys who are just solid leaders, solid players. Back in their prime, they were great. And it's look, they might not have the scoring touch anymore, but they're ready to just show the next generation what to do. And by the way, Sorokin wasn't 100% last year. And so I think, look, I'm not going to say a couple years ago, they were actually really good. So I mean, just.
Yeah, no, they were great a couple years back.
Trust me, the Metro is always chaotic because it's that came out of nowhere. And it's they're all just tight. The Metro is always tight.
The entire Metro is, you could be first, you could be eighth.
Well, I mean, keep in mind, like I said, take the Caps out of it because they were at 111 points. But the second place team we talked about was Carolina, right? 99, less than 100 points. The Devils had 81, and we're only down to 80. Or sorry, not even, we're above 80. We're at, where did they just go? We're at 82 points. Yeah. I mean, you're 9 points away from being third in the Metro. So, I mean,
it's a lot tighter than people think.
They're really tough to predict this season, I think.
Yeah. This is going to be a really hard one.
2 years, different story.
They're going up. Top 3, top 4 team easy.
But what is going to happen this year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a
A
weird
lot
one.
of it, a lot of it, I think, will also ride on a healthy Ilya Sorokin.
Yeah, I
Because
agree.
like Tyler said, and like Tyler and I have been talking about this for years, especially when the Islanders announced that they got him. When this dude balls out, he balls out.
Yeah,
Yes, he
He's
does.
one of the greatest goalies I've ever seen.
yeah,
But
top
when he's
five
hurt,
for
like
sure.
any goalie,
Really,
when he's hurt,
yeah,
they're done. Right? And what's fun about the Islanders is they've kind of inhabited the whole trap style game into the culture of the organization rather than just whoever's on the team, whoever's on the roster sheet. And I think if they still utilize that trap style game while also figuring out how to weaponize, if Barzal's healthy, how to weaponize a Matthew Barzal into that system, how to weaponize a Cole Eiserman when he's eventually ready, a Victor Eklund, a Caden, a Nathanson, those guys, we're gonna have a very fun Islanders team moving forward. And like you guys said, this coming season, as far as we're talking about, because that's what we're talking about here, it's gonna be very hard to figure out where they're gonna land, but they're gonna be an interesting team to watch.
Yep.
I agree. I think the one kind of key thing holding them back, I love the man for what he's done for the goaltending community, but I don't know if he's what we would call an elite coach. Um, but we'll get to that a whole other time because I have many things to say about Patrick Roy as a coach. Because
Can I just say one thing? I'm surprised he stayed. I'm
I'm
surprised they kept him.
also kind of surprised they kept him. I'm surprised he stayed, but like I know he really wants to get back into coaching.
Right.
I don't know if he was the entire problem when he was the coach of the Avalanche, but like at the same token, I don't know if he's a great coach, and it's like it's kind of hard to tell because he keeps getting put in kind of mid situations, which doesn't help. Which we'll get to. Speaking of mid situations and not sure what to do and needs a lot of help, with 34 wins, 36 losses, and 12 OT shootout losses with 80 points, which once again not that far off, only 11 points up. Your two-time back-to-back cup winner, Pittsburgh Penguins. So, I mean, let's get the
Run
points
through
out.
this first. I have a question, but let's run through this first.
Let's get all this out of the way. So, 33 goals, 58 assists, 91 points. I mean, the legend Sidney Crosby absolutely cooking another season of just greatness. Second place is going to shock you all. 35 goals, 35 assists, 70 points. Raquel.
Not a shocker.
And then not that much of a shocker.
31 goals, 34 assists, 65 points. We have Rust. Now, notable outs. Lost Nedeljkovic, who actually kind of stepped in and played really well this season when Jari was not kind of doing anything. Riley Smith's out and Puljujärvi's out. And then I think Mike Sullivan out. It's kind of a big deal, honestly, for this team, and we'll get to that in a minute. And then well, freshly today they have a new guy who they brought in of note. But I don't know if it helps them or hurts them.
Don't laugh about my GOAT defenseman Matt Dumba like that.
Okay, well, usage
he's
like
not.
that.
He's really not.
So that's kind of their notable. We need to swing for the fences, boys. Dumba. It's like okay.
Okay.
So
It's just there's only one place to start with this team. Like,
besides asking why.
Okay, so let's.
I think it's actually you start with when.
Well, so this is what I was gonna say. Are we going to talk about the elephant in the room? Like, are we going to talk about when they're going to trade him? Or
may I ask my question?
Yes, ask your question.
So, actually, finish your point. I want to ask this because this exactly has to do with the elephant in the room.
Okay, addressing the elephant. There's multiple elephants in this situation.
There's a lot of elephants in this.
There's a lot of elephants.
There's a lot of elephants.
They all have their name on the cup a couple times already. They all have trade and move protections of various sorts. Anything they do, they need these guys to sign off of. And at every opportunity, they're saying, I kind of like it here. That's a really...
I think I know the solution. Bring Fleury back.
Well,
Clearly some have tried.
Unironic, five teams called his GM and said, unretire, please.
I bet you I know who one of the five is. I think we're talking about him. I think let's get the band back together. Yep. But so jokes aside, I mean, oof.
Okay, so regarding the elephant in the room, right? A number was brought up to me earlier today by a stat someone figured out, and that number is 21. Do you guys know what the significance of that number is?
It is 7 times 3.
Yes. Besides that, every 21 years,
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
the Pittsburgh Penguins have landed a generational first overall pick that changed the franchise forever. Mario Lemieux was the first. 21 years later, it was Sidney Crosby. 21 years later will be next year when Gavin McKenna is available.
Yeah, I saw that same.
Shout out Penn State.
Shout out Penn State. Oh,
yeah, he's going to Penn State.
He's going to Penn. No.
Yeah, we're doomed.
Fuck, we figured it out already. Cancel the draft next year.
The Metro has the tank, so Pittsburgh gets in the playoffs.
Here's my question.
It's gotta happen.
Right. So here's my question.
There's another team in Pennsylvania.
That's true. He's not going to the. We'll get to them because that would be funny. Here's my question. If you are Pittsburgh and you understand that you're making moves that basically scream we're going to tank this season, you don't actively trade for Matt Dumba. What are you doing? No offense to Matt Dumba. He's a great dude from what I've heard.
For Matt Dumba.
You passively trade for Matt Dumba. You phantom power at it.
It's like wanting Bogosian to get the Norris.
Exactly. Oh, God. Remember when we were on that?
I remember.
I know. So my point being, if you're the Pittsburgh Penguins, and you fully understand that you very much have to rebuild the entire team from the ground up. You can't retool anymore. It's over. It's so over for you guys, right? And you know that next offseason, 26 offseason, is when Gavin McKenna will be the first overall pick. What exactly do you do with Sidney? You have one of two options. Option number one is you have him do what they did with Mario. Mario stays, sort of helps Crosby get his feet wet with the Penguins, and then Mario eventually calls it a career, and Crosby takes over from there. You do that with Crosby to McKenna. Crosby still stays 1 or 2 more seasons. Make sure that Gavin kind of understands that he is the guy moving forward for the next generation of Pittsburgh Penguins, and then Crosby calls it a career. Or do you, as the Penguins, go, it's time we send Sid off into the sunset, and as much as we would love him to finish his career a Penguin, we understand the circumstances going into next offseason. If we trade Sidney, we get assets back, we can work towards hopefully getting the first overall pick next offseason and acquire Gavin McKenna.
I got a lot of thoughts on those.
Now, the other question too, before Alex, I do want you to hear your thoughts on this. If you are Tyler's best friend, Kyle Dubas,
that's exactly
what do you do? I knew it.
I'm prepared.
I have a well thought out answer.
Okay,
I do.
I have a well thought out joke.
The short and non-fun answer from a human perspective and from a sports city perspective, and acknowledging who Sid's been to your organization, you ask him what he wants and you have him publicly state it, and you do that. But here's what I think he should do. You have to look at the market right now. It is abundantly clear. Teams have stated the only thing harder to get than reliable right shot D is a 2C that everyone is happy with. The market is really high. There are a lot of teams looking for it. There are a lot of teams with the cap space to try and pull this off because Sid's on a very friendly deal for Sid. The market would be so hot. You can tank for McKenna and also build your pipeline, because the cupboards are barren in Pittsburgh. They are. All their trades have been trying to get younger, and they aren't young enough fast enough. And the assets you could get from a Sidney Crosby trade would potentially set you up to your team's going to be bad enough. You're going to ship out Malkin too. You'll ship out everybody if you ship out Sid. You're going to tank. You're going to get the first pick. You're going to take a generational talent in McKenna, and you're going to have a pipeline years down the line to support McKenna. And I think the unique market right now is too good to not trade Sid. So you find a suitor and you ask Sid, you cool with it? Or you hold him in a room and you say, you're doing this. And you get him to go. Right? I think that's what they need to do.
Before you say anything.
What do you think it's going to be negative?
No, I don't think it's going to be negative. I never said it was going to be negative before Tyler says anything. To the point of, needing center in the market. Yeah, it's a big market. And I think with the Penguins, they've made a lot of moves that have definitely not gone the way they hoped for. The biggest one, I think, was brought up not too long ago, but I completely forgot about this trade. The Braden Yeager for Rucker McGroarty trade with Winnipeg. Rucker doesn't want to stay in Winnipeg. He says, give me somewhere else. Winnipeg says, all right, bet. Make the deal with Pittsburgh. They get Braden Yeager out of it. Braden Yeager is going to look like a stud. And Rucker McGroarty, no offense to the kid, is not looking like his smack talk said he would be.
I'm never going to forget hearing the whiteout chant, "Where is Rutger?"
Yeah. So,
good point.
My point, exactly. My point being is, the Penguins need to understand that the time to do this is now.
Well,
trade what you got, get the assets. I mean, because if you're gonna, like you said, if they're gonna ship Sid, Gino's gone, Letang's gone.
They've already stated that they're not going to bring Gino back at the end of his contract. Right. They've already publicly stated that.
And you don't want to lose Gino for nothing.
Yep.
Because there's a team out there that would want a Gino, even in his older age. There's a team out there that wants Gino. There's a team out there that wants Letang. I don't know who. Erik Karlsson. At the time we're recording this, by the way, it is 11:30 on the 10th of July. There have been rumors linked to Brian Rust and Erik Karlsson being traded potentially to the Red Wings. We don't have any confirmation on this, obviously. It's still just rumors. But this goes to the point of, if you're planning on shipping Sid out, everyone else has got to go. You got to start building assets now before you potentially land Gavin McKenna. Because what happens if you don't? Even if you get Verhoff, you got to plan around that. So, all right, Tyler, the floor is yours.
So I want to point out, you all have so much faith in Kyle Dubas. It's astounding. Holy shit! Oh my god, you have so much faith in the man. Okay, so I mean, first order of business. By the way,
hold on. Before you start, I never said his name directly. I just said
I never said it either.
Meaning, they could fire his ass. So, okay, let me be clear.
I mean, we just talked about the McGroarty trade.
I'm playing Chell. So, I mean, I'm in my GM in Chell.
Okay, I'll give you that. So, all right, now it's out of it. I mean, look, I'm going to actually use I had put a lot of thought in this because Alex gave a beautiful speech there. That was great. And so I'm going to use Alex's thing as a jumping off point. And I'm going to actually use a team from years past that didn't get the opportunity that the Penguins had. Okay. The Chicago Blackhawks of many years ago. They had Corey Crawford, stud goaltender. Not Fleury good, but a very good goaltender. They had Jonathan Toews. They had Duncan Keith. They had Patrick Kane. They had Brent Seabrook. They got pretty much the only thing that they got anything for was Kane. When teams stupidly traded for him, I don't know what idiot would trade for Catch Kane. Some stupid team, I'm sure. I know. And then, but like at the same time, they got nothing. And like now they got Bedard, and he's doing, he's a great player, but like they don't have a lot to build around him. It's slow. It's a slow process. Nick Foligno's on that team. They really are kind of reaching for the stars here. Mrazek was their starting goalie for like 2 years. Like, so the problem is when you have a team that's like old and you trade a lot of these things to keep going and feeding the cup runs, which is great. And it's awesome to win 3 cups in, 5 years. However, they didn't rebuild the pool a little bit. So now they're kind of in this thing of like, we have Connor. Great. What do you have for him? Ryan Donato is kind of cool. It's like, ooh. So like, And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, and that's like how it kind of goes sometimes. But like, Pittsburgh's in a great position right now where they have the opportunity to not do that. All they have to do is look at that and be like, wow, we can be not that by just trading out 3 guys. And regardless of, your attachment as the city and everything, it's like, look, like, if you have to trade them all out and you get picks and prospects back, holy shit, what's the return for Crosby going to look like? Landing McKenna or not, what's the return for Crosby? Like, what's the return for even a Malkin at this point? It's still going to be a nice return. I mean, rentals are calling for a first rounder. A guy like Malkin as a rental?
Especially at the deadline.
Especially
exactly.
At deadline
And like,
pick,
dude, a Chris Letang at the deadline would move my needle a little bit. Like,
and the thing is, they're paid so much that they're going to go to like 3 or 4 different teams.
Dude,
that's.
Just keep retaining salary too. Just don't even give a shit because none of their contracts are that massive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, the Penguins are. Look, I have zero faith in the captain of the ship, but like, if literally all he does, if Kyle, if you ever listen to this, just look at the Blackhawks and say, I don't want to do that. Let me be semi-smart and go this way. And then when you look at where the player played, or they played for the Greyhounds, just don't do it.
Yeah, that's an important.
And then you're
Please
done.
Stop getting Greyhounds.
And then you're good. And then like life's okay. And like Pittsburgh will be happy. The city won't fucking like burn their house down. And everything will be okay. Like everything's fine. So like I don't know. The Penguins are in a good spot. They just need to trade everything and like just accept the fire sale, embrace the fire sale, live for the fire sale. Once again, they traded for Dumba actively. They went and got him. Like they understand the objective here, I think. So like I think hopefully, I mean, it is Kyle Dubas. God only knows. Just trade everything. I mean, that's just the Pittsburgh thing, which gets us to the last place team in the Metro, the Philadelphia Flyers, who I actually think are in a better position than the Penguins by a pretty good margin. So here's where we're at. The Flyers only had 33 wins. I saw one of them. 39 losses, 10 overtime losses, shootout losses. 76 points. Once again, not that far removed, 15 points. When you really think about it, like, it's a lot, but it's not that much. Like, when we start talking about some of the other divisions, like, it's going to get bad. Like, the differential is going to be a little bit more severe. Natural. So, let's get to this. Konechny, 24 goals, 52 assists, 76 points. That's a good season. Flat out, that's a good season. Michkov, 26 goals. He is a scorer. 37 assists, 63 total points. This is where it gets downhill. Couturier, 15 goals, 30 assists, 45 points. Notable outs, Poling. Notable ins, Trevor Zegras. The problem I have with the Flyers, and then I'm going to let Alex take the floor because he's itching for this one. They also got Dvorak, which that's a good move. And then the problem is, the big thing they said at the offseason was, we're going to go out and get a goalie. Because they had a goalie, and that got kind of weird. And then he's gone now. And then they rolled with Sam Urson for a while, who's not what we would call a starter. And they got Vladar. It was their big offseason goalie move. Granted, they have a Russian prospect, Fedotov, who's
the Fedotov is there.
I have mixed feelings on. I don't think he's that good. It's great he's large, but I don't think he's that good. So they didn't hit their sole objective, but they got Zegras. So Alex, go for gold.
I have so many feelings about this stupid team. Many feelings about this.
Who is stupid?
Philadelphia. I'm wearing a Ducks jersey. Either that or I'm stupid. 50-50 shot. Really. No, but like, okay. As a fan base, they make me angry at the team. But we're not going to get into this. Let's talk about the roster. The Zegras trade is free money. Free money. The Ducks won the Cutter Gauthier trade, and the Flyers at worst come out even. At worst, they come out even on the Zegras trade. The Ducks sold low, and he is so skilled, and he's a vibes guy, and he's going to be hanging out with his best buddy in the whole wide world, Jamie Drysdale again, and he's going to be hanging out with another highly skilled, offensive-minded forward. And they have a new regime. They've got a new head coach. It is all set up for him to try and get his change of scenery and start showing us his 60-point plus ability again. That could totally happen. He could also be injured, just like Jamie. Now, around the rest of the team, I'm still not that high on them. I think they're one of the teams that is pretty easy to put. I think the bottom two in the Met are pretty easy to put. I don't see how they get higher than 7th. I think the most important thing for them this year is, can they find the fit? Can they keep Zegras healthy? And do you see some growth? I think there's too many roster issues and too much that could go wrong. But as far as like taking a bet on somebody, what a good bet to take. I believe in that kid. I believe in him so much.
Still kind of bummed they traded him. And I'm not even a Ducks fan, but I do like Trevor Zegras.
Dude, I'm so bummed. We'll talk about my Ducks
next
step.
To the Pacific, but the Flyers are a team that I think are starting to truly believe in what they're doing. Right? On ice, still shaky, but they're still trying to build that team. They're still trying to build an identity for that team. And I think a lot of that identity, and this is partly why I bring this up, they fully have belief in like their future, relies on Matvei Michkov. And I want to tell a little story. It was just a quick little thing, but I love, this is like one of the funniest things ever. So Tyler and I were at the NHL draft in Nashville a couple of years back. It's actually where we saw Alex. Well, not at the draft, but Alex was also there.
All three of us in Nashville were at the same time.
Yeah, funnily enough. Anyway, but Alex and I were at the draft. You do, yes. Alex and I were at the draft, and we'd seen everything.
I was not at the draft.
Alex was not at the draft. Tyler and I were at the draft. It's a long night, boys. Tyler and I are at the draft. We're going through it, and of course, the big talking point of that night was Matvei Michkov. Who's going to pick him? Where's he going to go? Yada yada yada. The Flyers end up grabbing him, right? And everyone's talking about, it's going to be 2 to 3 years, KHL issues, things like that. As we are leaving Bridgestone Arena that night, we're walking by, and there are GMs taking photos with fans. Some of them have their newly drafted prospects and whatnot, yada, yada, yada. And Tyler looks over, and he goes, "Oh, that was fast." I go, "What?" He goes, "Someone already got a Flyers Michkov jersey made." And I go, "Oh, that is pretty quick." And we look over, and we go, "Oh, yeah, that guy, is that Matvei Michkov?" In that moment is when I realized that I think the Flyers knew from the beginning that they were going to get him a lot earlier than they did. And when he showed up this year, he showed up. Like, he's fully proving that he is the guy that we all expected him to be, and he's gonna flourish in the next 2 to 3 years. He needs he needs someone else to help him out. Getting Trevor Zegras, if Zegras is healthy, I think is the best move for them. Right? If you run, and like the same thing with the Jamie Drysdale thing, it hasn't really worked out this season. That's fine, but injuries and whatnot, and I feel like it was hard for Jamie to get used to this new change of pace in Philly. You put that all together and let them grow, let them develop. Like the bond between Zegras and Drysdale is already explained in the weirdest ways possible, and that's fine. But now you get to put those two together with the Michkov. You get to put those two together with any other like high caliber prospects they have in that pipeline going forward. Looking at next season, they haven't made a lot of moves, and that's fine besides Zegras. But I think right now Danny Briere is very focused on what exactly does the team want to look like surrounding Matvei Michkov. What kind of identity do they want to have around this kid? Not for the kid, but around him. I think a lot of it will also impact who they end up finding in goaltending. Yes, Tyler.
So, I think to wrap up Philly, I have a much different take than you all, which is kind of weird. I'm actually kind of hot on the Flyers. which is weird to say, despite this. Look, I would say they remind me a lot more of Columbus than any other team in the league. They have a really good young roster. Tyson Forster.
I forgot about Tyson Forster.
Yeah.
Oh.
And like I said, Matvei Michkov's good. You now bring in Zegras. You have Owen Tippett. Right? Look at some of these other guys they have, especially on defense. I mean, they got Drysdale, Cam York. Like, look, are they elite? No. But I think they're starting to get to the point where, like, things are going to turn the corner. Do I think they're going to be first in the Metro? God, no. Do I think they're going to be top 5? God, no. Do I think if it's the deadline and Buffalo's selling UPL and some other team, Edmonton desperately needs a goalie, and you say, hey, let's go get him, and you just take UPL out from under them? I think 2 years from now, Philly will be actually kind of wild. I think they're actually, once again, not an exciting year. Like, I don't think Flyers fans will be buckling up for, like I said, run at the cup. However, I actually don't think they're as far down the rabbit hole. I don't think there's that many holes. I truly think, give it a year. Like, this was a quiet offseason. I think they want to let the young guys kind of cook a little bit, and then next year it's like, okay, if there's progress, let's go make a splash.
Yeah,
I think
Tocchet is gonna do wonders for the young players. They went from having one of the worst coaches for young players to having a better upper percentile.
For sure, a better situation. And I think before we get into the jump here for the standings, I really do think 2 years. I hate to say it because it really caused me a lot of pain. Philly's not far off. I just don't think they're as bad as everyone gives them credit for. Like everyone says. Like eighth was not a good look, but it's not where I think they are. So which gets us. Well, what are you say? We'll get
sorry to interrupt you before we get to our little way too early standings predictions for next season. To clarify, I don't think they're bad, but I think just confused is the word. Like, yeah, they have a lot of great young guys in the roster. It's just a matter of building them up and kind of associating an identity. Now that all these minds are together, now that you have these players.
Well, and I think they got a guy for that now. I think once again,
exactly, and Rick Tocchet, I think, is the best guy to do it.
Yeah, I think their former coach was not the guy.
No, he was not.
And I think,
what a quote! Did you get? I'm sure you guys saw the quote where he was like, "I just don't think I'm built for this. Yeah, I just don't think I think I know how. I just don't think I know how to coach."
Thanks, Tortsy. Yeah, like.
I had a great experience with Torts. Obviously.
Before we get to the standings thing, I do want to ask one just a joke little question regarding the Flyers. Now that Zegras and Michkov are together, over under how many Michigans do they attempt? Now that they're together and Torts is gone.
Still think Tocchet will hit one of them. So I'm just gonna go with 2. Yeah, Tocchet's gonna kill someone. I'm gonna go with 2. Solid 2.
Yeah, I don't know how to put a number on it, but what I do think we're gonna see is some crazy Zegras to Michkov highlight.
Yep.
Undeniably, he's gonna make a sick pass, or he's gonna do the behind the net alley.
Yeah, that ridiculous thing.
Like they're gonna have great.
They're gonna put up some numbers this year. They are certainly gonna lose.
They're gonna make some good social content.
They're gonna lose a lot of 5-3 games.
They're gonna make some good social content with Gritty.
They're gonna be chilling with Gritty. And like I said, I finalized the point. I think right now the situation they're in, you couldn't find another good young like stud playmaker for Michkov than Trevor Zegras. I think this matchup is going to work perfectly for them. That being said, gentlemen, it's time to do our way too early, really.
I don't think we're going to agree on any of this, so we should. No,
standings predictions.
I've also changed them since I've been sitting in this chair today.
Right, so we should just go one by one, I think.
Yeah, let's go one by one.
Do you want to do like one by one straight up the list, or do you want to just kind of go 8 and then 7?
Let's go 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, yeah.
Okay, so let's start with the 8th pick. Who do you got?
Let's be better about this one. No spoiling your list as you go up.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh at the bottom.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pittsburgh.
Okay, so that was easy.
I think that's unanimous at this point.
Okay, so great. I'm gonna go 7 is Philly.
7 is Philly.
7 is also Philly.
Okay, great. We're doing so good.
We're doing so great, guys. Look at us.
Okay, so 6. Unfortunately, I'm going to stick with the Islanders. I think they're just going to be there for another year. I think it's just a weird season. It's just, there's a lot going on. I think even though you got Schaefer, you lost Dobson, I think there's just a couple other things. Coaching, you're still trying to figure out all of that. I just don't think Patrick wants a good coach, and I think it's really going to keep him kind of hinder there.
I also have Islanders.
Well, that's 3 in a row.
All right, we're doing great, guys.
We're doing great, guys.
Okay,
This is lovely. Yeah.
And this is
Which means we are probably going to be so wrong.
This is where things are going to go awkward. Okay, so I guess that takes us to 5. I don't want to go first. I want someone else to go first.
I'll go first.
Okay.
This is a hot take.
What?
Devils.
Okay. So apparently it was not that hot of a take. I also have the Devils at 5.
No.
You don't break the trend. We're doing great. Like,
I also have the Devils.
let's go. See, we're all in agreement.
We're going to get this division so wrong.
Dude, no, because the thing is, they yes, they did enough, but they just didn't do that much. And I also think, like, I don't know, as Yusuf and I have talked about Jacob Markstrom for years, it's Jekyll and Hyde, man. They got a great year this year, and I just don't know if they're gonna. I don't know if it's sustainable. I just really don't. Like,
yep.
Everyone's a year older. Like, not that like, the young guys are bad, but it's like Dougie Hamilton's a year older. Their defense still doesn't really move money. Anyway,
right.
All right.
Well, it's that, and I feel like there's a certain team that I think we all have at 4 that is just, in my opinion, they are a step ahead of the Devils.
Yeah, well, let's see if we agree. I was going to put Columbus at 4.
Rangers.
Okay. So,
I have Columbus.
okay, so Yusuf is still my best friend. Alex, you've been demoted.
Are you
That's
telling me I
okay.
got demoted?
It was getting tense there last week.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah, Columbus, I love Merzlikins. I just still am not sold on that whole thing. They just didn't do enough. I mean, I think they lost guys, and I think they got a lot of good young talent, but I think it took some to develop young talent. So I think that's why I kind of have them at 4.
I think
They're gonna be a
my
wild
reasoning, yeah. I think my reasoning for Rangers here is, while I am overall thinking the vibes are going to be better this year and there's going to be some positive things to look at, to me there's still too much of the old stench, and I can't fully get over it. That's just where I'm at.
So, like, 3, obviously, I actually have my Rangers at 3. I think Mike Sullivan's going to fix a lot of issues. I think we're going to be a very strong 3. And I think, once again, Shesterkin can pretty much win a season. So as long as the offense and defense can get their heads out of their asses for 7 minutes, and Keandre Miller literally lost us 8 overtimes. So since he's gone now, we can't possibly lose 8 straight overtimes because of Keandre Miller. So we're fine.
Yeah. I also have the Rangers at 3, just more or less the same punch as Tyler. My thing is, I think this is the season where having Mike Sullivan as their head coach, he's going to tell him, you get your fucking asses together right now. God damn it. Look at this team. Like, there's no excuses. But the Metro is going to be very well contested by the other 2 teams that we have yet to put in our standings. And it's going to make it a little difficult for the Rangers. They will be able to contend in the division. It's just going to be difficult where everything lands come season.
Right. Yeah, that's all reasonable. I've got the Jackets. I have this being a really close. Like, we're talking 2 points maximum.
Yeah, no,
1 to 2 points here.
Yeah.
So I've got the Jackets. They sneak it out, and they're a game better, or an OT win better, and they get 3.
So before we get to our 2 and respectively 1, I want to say I think honestly it's from like 5 to 1. I think we're talking 10 points. 15 points.
It's going to be a tight race.
I think it's going to be a lot tighter than this year. Like I said, I think the Caps ran away with it last year. I don't foresee anyone running away with it this year.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a lot tighter than everyone thinks. And I think it's going to be a real battle for those 2 wild cards. However, so do you want to say our 1s or do you want to say our 2s? Let's figure that out.
Let's do our 2s.
Okay.
2s.
All right. So I'll break the ice.
Okay.
The Washington Capitals.
I also have the Capitals at 2.
The Washington Capitals.
Yeah.
Look at us go.
Look at us.
If Alex could just get on board with the Rangers, it would be fine.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's weird. Me and Yusuf actually agree on like all of this.
Yeah,
I have to believe
not
that
every day
James
we do.
Kreider's got more in the tank, man.
That's fair.
All right. You feeling okay?
And then we all have
Yeah.
the
Canes.
Canes at 1. So let's talk about why we might have the Canes over the Caps.
So
It's really easy for me.
if I may, I feel like the moves that they've made, though, partly loud, partly everyone looks at them and goes, okay, this is what they were looking for, is exactly what they need. Stankoven is going to work out like a charm, right? The development of Seth Jarvis is working out like a fucking charm. Losing Marty Necas was a big hit to them at first, but they've been able to come back from it. Landing Nikolai Ehlers, if he follows the Rod Bod system from day one, we've got a fucking scary team on our hands. The next thing, and I think this is oh man, I really hope this is the year. Every now and then there's always a defenseman that everyone talks about, whether overrated or underrated, and people look at them and go, well, why aren't they in the Norris conversation? And I've been saying this about Noah Dobson for the last year or so, that I think Dobson's going to have his breakout season soon. Now, this is in Montreal. That's a whole other conversation, though. I think with Brent Burns being gone and not being the dog that he is, playing 25-ish minutes a night, 20-25 minutes a night, this is the Jacob Slavin breakout party. We've all known for years that Jacob Slavin is arguably one of the best defensive players in the league. I think this season is where he takes that step, like Zach Werenski did this season, like we've seen other defensemen in the past do. This is where we see Jacob Slavin really come out and prove to the world why he's one of the best defensive defensemen in the National Hockey League. And I feel like that, not even, I don't want to say that alone, but that paired with the firepower that they've now acquired and developed over the years is going to make the Hurricanes a terrifying force of nature.
So I think to play off what Alex said about just why do we have them over the Caps, I think, Yusuf, everything you just said was great. You could have stopped after the first sentence. The moves they made moves.
They made moves. They actually did something.
Once again, like, I love the Caps young team. I think they actually have a lot going on there. It's like Oshie retired, Backstrom's deceased, basically, like, honestly, like, compared to what he was, and if he even plays. And Ovechkin's now another year older. He's got his goal record. Does he care? Like, honestly, does he care? He's literally going back to Russia after this. Like, literally, the last day of the season, he is going to get on a fucking plane and leave. His house will be on the market in a month. Like, genuinely, like, I'm not trying to be funny, but, like, does he care? Do they care? Is this just a developmental season? What is it going to be? And I think, honestly, like, the Canes went out, made a splash. Once again, they don't need Miller to play defense and to go score goals. He's very capable of that. I've watched him do it. He's very good at it. He was a forward in college, by the way. A lot of people don't know that. He's a goal scorer. Then you go out and you get Ehlers. They know they need goal scoring. They fix that. They got a defensive who can score, and they got an offensive guy who can score. They fixed that. That's done. And they already have a great defensive system. So now they're going to just up their scoring ante with talent. Now, granted, Anderson and Kochetkov, when they're hot, incredible. When they're not playing great, or / when Freddie is, like John Gibson, hurt all the time, that's a whole other conversation. And Kochetkov is either like, wow, he got like a 50-save shutout, or, oh, he let in 4 goals on 8 shots. Oh my God. But like, I think honestly they fixed the scoring thing, and it's like that's been the big problem for the Canes, and I just think that's going to put them over the top. I think they're really hungry. I think they're ready. I think Aho might kill somebody if they get eliminated in the second and third round again. I really think he's going to lose it. So quiet once, but I think the Capitals just didn't do anything. I think that's just my big thing. It's like in a division where like you have underperforming teams go out and make a big trade, get Gavrikov. You have teams that were right behind you say this isn't enough, and they go get an Ehlers and they go make a trade for a defenseman, and you're like, you know what, we did really good. Like it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work in any sport league. I mean, teams understand how you work and are going to figure you out. They have film. They have a whole offseason to watch and study why you did so well, and they're going to counteract it with coaching or players or both. And it's like I think Carolina just set themselves up here to take the Metro. And
I don't think there's anything else left to say. I think you guys have hit all the points that we feel. They made the moves. I am Jeremy Slavin fan club number 1. I mean, like, he had his coming out at Four Nations.
Yeah.
Just an absolute stud. Absolute stud. I think if he gets some scoring going, and I've said it earlier, if anybody can improve Miller's defense, it is Carolina.
Yeah.
And so, like, they've addressed the scoring. They have infused the roster with youth and elite talent. They're set. They are rocking the go. Just make the black alternates the main jersey the whole way. Don't wear anything else.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
I am so curious for the Canes next year how that first power play unit's going to look, which is probably going to be like what? Jarvis, Aho, Ehlers, Svechnikov, Slavin. That's going to be fun to watch.
Dude,
like the fact that they'll have 2 triggermen on that power play.
Oh, absolutely.
It's going to be great for them.
They're going to just be a good team to watch.
No.
I think. Yeah, we all agree.
Yeah.
So what's our next? Let's kind of look into the future here. What's our next podcast before we get ready to sign off here?
Well, we've got the West to do, so stay tuned for that. As to which division we're going to tackle, we're probably tackling the Pacific next for Alex.
Oh, fabulous! Great, I love that. Then we can all
Alex, if you didn't
know,
know, Alex really likes the Ducks. But yeah, this has been our Metro way too early division predictions. Leave a comment, like the video, share, subscribe, tell all your friends, and hey, if you want to talk hockey with us, shoot us a comment. We'll talk about it. We'll answer some questions here. Until then, I'm Yusuf, that's Alex, and that is Tyler, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.